Chapter 03. Rimuru, Seal, and Azrael walked to the mines. Dwarf. Hey you three, shout, turn around, and armors Horus is attacking, people are hurt and we're out of potions, you should turn back. The three of them kept walking as if he wasn't there. Rimuru. I'm aware, Rimuru said as he didn't look back. They entered the mine. The Armorsaurus was indeed attacking. The three dwarf brothers were badly hurt when suddenly a figure jumped to the beast and landed on it like a trampoline, laughing all the way. The brothers were shocked to say the least. Seal. Good grief, Azrael, do you always have to be so showy? You definitely overdid it. Azrael. There's no such thing as overdoing it, Azrael said as she stomped its head while leaning on the corpse of the beast. Seal. You're the living definition of overdoing it, Azrael. And you're the living definition of boring. With that they once again started bickering. Murd, Dord, and Garm were beyond confused on what happened. Rimuru. Don't mind them, they're always like that. The three brothers looked at the voice behind them and say someone with the appearance of a young man with blue hair. Rimuru. Here, take these, they're potions I made. The brothers were shocked as their wounds were healed. Garm. Whoa, it's like I haven't been hurt at all. Dord. I thought my arm was gonna fall off. Murd. Rimuru. Of course he won't say something. Garm. Tell me, is there anything we can do to repay you? Rimuru. Actually there is. Timeskip. Kaijin. I must thank you again for helping me with making those swords. Rimuru. No problem, I just hope you'll consider my offer. Kaijin. Things may be better if I go with you, so I will consider it for now. Seal. I swear you're so disgusting. Azrael. You're still on that, will you get over yourself? Rimuru, Kaijin, and the dwarf brothers turned to Azrael and Seal, arguing. Seal. Killing that beast was one thing, but did you have to eat it afterwards? Azrael. So what, it would have been a waste to leave the corpse lying around, plus I was curious to how it tastes. Seal. You really need to learn a thing called tact. Azrael. Eating something you killed is the very essence of nature. Garm. Should you break them up? He said this as he pointed at the girls still arguing. Rimuru. Don't mind them. Dord. Who are they to you anyways? The girl with blue hair looks similar to you. Are you two related? Seal and Azrael stopped arguing and began to look in their direction with a bit of excitement. Rimuru. They're my servants is all. Azrael lost all her color and became paler than a ghost, while Seal had a smile that didn't reach her eyes, which were empty. Murd hummed in understanding. Kaijin. I see, then would you like to come with us to a party to celebrate our completion of the order? Garm. It'll be fun, there'll be lots of cute elf girls there. Rimuru. Sure, sounds like fun. Seal. Master, you have no need to go to such a place. Rimuru. There's something I want to check is all. Azrael. Oh, honestly, Seal, I thought you were the smart one. Seal. Azrael, you forget yourself. Azrael. Seal, you forget where you stand. Seal. Excuse me. Azrael. Master doesn't belong to us, we belong to him. What he does for his own amusement is none of our concern, such as a servant's place, is it not? Azrael said this with a smile as Seal glared at her. There was a tense moment of silence between the two of them as they stared each other down. Rimuru. Look, you two are coming as well, you're my bodyguards as well, remember? Seal. Right, Azrael. Of course, Master. Kaijin. You sure you want to bring them to a place like that? Kaijin whispered to Rimuru. Rimuru. It's more dangerous to leave them alone like this. Rimuru whispered back. Kaijin nodded in understanding. They made their way to the butterflies of the night, where Rimuru was well received. Elf 1. Wow, he's so handsome. An elf in a green dress said. This is she held his arm close to her chest. Elf 2. Hey, no fair. An elf in a lavender outfit said this as she grabbed his other arm in between her chest. Elf 2. Here, come hang out with me. They began to swarm and surround him, all seeming to want to gain his attention. Rimuru. I'm so glad I made this body purely male right now. It's safe to say they were all over him. Kaijin and the dwarf brothers all had cheeky grins on their faces watching Rimuru get overwhelmed. Azrael. Keep it together. Azrael said as Seal had untamed fury in her eyes. Seal. Shut up. Azrael. Honestly, you really need to calm down. Seal. You're telling me this doesn't bother you in the least? I suppose your feelings for him aren't as strong as I thought. Azrael. On the contrary, Seal, it's because I care. Unlike others, I'm not so arrogant to think that I should deprive him of any pleasure in life besides. Azrael bit her index finger as she smiled suggestively and blushed. Azrael. I like seeing him with other women. Seal looked at Azrael in disbelief. Seal. Yet another reason why I can't stand you. Azrael. Well, aside from that, remember the real reason why he's here. Seal. Of course, I haven't forgotten that. The good times carried on until the moment they were waiting for the true reason why they came. Fortune teller. So is there anything specific you would like to see? Rimuru. Yes, if it's not too much trouble I'd like to see who I'm destined to be with. Fortune teller. I see that shouldn't be too hard. She waved her hands over the crystal ball as a fog began to open an image. Fortune teller. There I see something. Seal and Azrael peered over his shoulders to see who his destined one as the image slowly came to sight. Seal, please, Azrael, I need to see it. The form began its reveal. Rimuru, it showed Shizu and her students. Seal, I see. Seal, Azrael, and Rimuru had a thought communication link. Azrael, it's the same. Rimuru, wait, it's different. Rimuru was right. In the original vision the Shizu seemed to be saying goodbye to her students and they were sad. Chloe even cried, but in this things were different. They were happy, smiling, and Chloe was even laughing. Rimuru viewed the crystal ball with focused, unwavering eyes. Rimuru, what does this mean? Shizu then turned around and smiled at someone who couldn't be seen. The kids also smiled at this figure. It was Rimuru. They lovingly embraced as the kids smiled, watching the view then began to focus on Rimuru and Shizu. They seemed to be playing around happily. They settled down together, and as they sat they looked behind them and saw several shadowed feminine figures joining them to sit, though none of them could Rimuru say he didn't recognize. With that the V-zone ended. Kaijin. Now that was a pretty lady. Rimuru smiled. Rimuru. Yeah, she was. A shade covered the eyes of Seal. Azrael noticed this and looked at her in question. Rimuru. Hey, are you? Seal. I'm fine. Rimuru. Vesta. My, this is interesting. Should you really be wasting your time drinking? Vesta put down his drink. Vesta. Good evening, Kaijin. Kaijin. Great, it's Minister Vesta. Azrael. This was the guy. He looks like somebody wound his strings too tight. Rimuru. I thought the same thing when I first saw him, but trust me, he has potential. He just needs some good old-fashioned character development. Azrael. I really hope it's not the Sasuke type development, because I don't think I could put up with him for that long. Vesta. Honestly, I'm surprised you're playing around like this, especially since the deadline for those swords is fast approaching. Kaijin. I turned them in earlier. Vesta. You know what will happen if you don't finish them. Wait, you're already done. Kaijin. That's right, with all 20 of them. Vesta. But that can't be. Kaijin. It's true. You want to see the invoice? Vesta cleared his throat. Vesta. No, that's all right. Vesta began to ramble on. Rimuru sighed, remembering how Vesta used to be. Rimuru, the job's done, isn't it? I'd say you can leave it at that. Vesta looked over to Rimuru with a look of distaste. Vesta, I'd say brats like you need to learn their place. Rimuru, I'd say I know my place, but the real question is, do you? The elf manager tried to defuse the situation by giving them both a drink on the house. Rimuru, thank you, I appreciate it. Vesta, HMPH, very well, I'll show you what this brat deserves. Vesta poured his drink on Rimuru. Everyone seemed concerned for him. There was a shade over Rimuru's eyes. Kaijin began to get up. Rimuru. Kaijin, don't. Rimuru said this with a voice that held so much authority behind it. Rimuru. The most about a drink being poured on me that could bother me is how wasteful it is. I see no reason to do anything about it. Vesta. Sounds like someone's learning there. Vesta was punched in the face by Azrael. He was sent slamming into the wall. Seal instantly healed him so she could do it again. Rimuru. Same can't be said about them though. Rimuru drank his drink as Seal and Azrael continued to attack Vesta. Kaijin. Hey Rimuru, you said you needed some skilled artisans, right? Rimuru. That's right. Kaijin. Think you can settle for me? Rimuru chuckled. Rimuru. Well, I guess you'll do. Might as well work with what I got. Rimuru said, going jokingly as he raised his mug. Kaijin also raised his to initiate cheers with him. Rimuru. Pleasure doing business with you. The next day Kaijin and the dwarf brothers were waiting at the gate for Rimuru, Azrael, and Seal. Kaijin. I hope they're alright. Garm. They were the only ones put on trial, so I'm worried how they'll get out of this. Dord. I know what you mean. Vesta is pretty well versed in trials. Murd. MMHMM. Murd nodded in agreement. Kaijin. Maybe if I went back I could try and vouch for them. Rimuru. That won't be necessary. Kaijin. Rimuru, you're back. Seal. Sorry we're late, someone took too long in breakfast and doing her job. Azrael. You don't get it, getting us out of that situation was so bitter. I needed good food to stomach it down. Seal. It's really just in your head, can't you do literally the only thing you can do magic-wise? Azrael. Last I checked, this only thing did more than you ever could. Rimuru. Let's get going, they'll be at this for a while. They made their way back to Tempest. They were surprised about the teleportation. They each began helping establish their town. Things were going smoothly, but they could have gone smoother if the arguments of the Manas didn't cause such a disturbance. To be continued.